In newly released undercover video, attorney John Eastman can be heard criticizing former Vice President Mike Pence for not overturning the 2020 election results. Eastman, who played a key role in outlining strategies to keep Joe Biden's win from being certified, was filmed by Lauren Windsor, a progressive activist who is known to approach Republican figures, pretend to be an ally, make flattering comments, and then record her targets making candid comments. She approached Eastman at an event last Saturday night.
It's amazing.
Well, but I read your memo, and I thought it was solid in all of its legal arguments.
Yeah.
And I was floored that Mike Pence didn't do anything. I mean, why didn't he act on it? Because you gave him the legal reasoning to do that.
I know.
Like,
exactly.
All of your legal reasoning is totally solid.
Yeah, there's no question. But
I mean, like, just supporter to supporter, like, why do you think that Mike Pence didn't do it?
Well, because Mike Pence is an establishment guy at the end of the day. If we could have got the decertification, we would have had Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Arizona back in January. Trump, Giuliani, and me met with 300 legislators on January 2nd via a Zoom conference call. And they all spinelessly wouldn't do anything. Right? Even though we'd given them all the evidence, they wouldn't do it. So, look, I very much wish it were otherwise. But these guys are spineless. And now, if we take a bunch of them out in the primaries in 2022, and the precondition for getting elected is we're going to fight this stuff, then maybe we got an opportunity.
The voice of John Eastman. Last week, in an interview with the National Review, Eastman stepped back a bit from the plan to have Mike Pence reject electoral votes, calling it, quote, not viable and crazy. The House Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol is expected to subpoena John Eastman. So, Joe, let's just step back for 1 second and recap. Former President Donald Trump saw John Eastman on Fox News making some of these insane arguments about overturning the election. He said, get me that guy. John Eastman writes a 2-page memo laying out step by step how Vice President Pence should proceed to effectively throw out the vote in 7 states, to disenfranchise 7 states, pretend those votes didn't happen, get everybody under 270 electoral votes, kick it to state legislatures where there are more Republicans than Democrats, and give the election to Donald Trump, to overturn the results of the 2020 election. He tried to step back from it a bit. Perhaps he's afraid of the subpoena coming his way in that National Review interview. Now, though, showing his true colors in that undercover video.
Yeah, and I'm not usually big fans of those type of undercover videos. We've seen some on the right do it, as well as some on the left. They'll go up to a news person in a crowded restaurant and go, "Don't you just hate what so and so did?" And the person, yeah, and then they'll have big libs in news media. When I'm getting off of a stage, a lot of times, or when I held town hall meetings, and you don't have the debate when you're walking off the stage, or when people just want to come up and talk to you and. Don't you think the Yankees are the greatest team ever? They're just the greatest team. I grew up with the Yankees. But, oh, yeah, the Yankees, good guys. I cheer for them all the time, and I keep walking.
It's a little more than that.
That's how I usually am with these things. I will. And Claire, I know, McCaskill, you feel my pain. You get off of a stage, and people are talking to you, and off the stage, you want to agree with them, and you're like, yeah, I understand. And in this case with John Eastman, though, I must say, he didn't just go, yeah, Mike Pence, because that's the clip I saw. Yeah, Mike Pence is an establishment guy, and that's why he did it. That's sort of a generalized statement that would have been fine, and then he could have walked on. But here he got specific about the 7 states. He got specific about the Zoom call. He got specific about the 300 members. He got specific about them being spineless. He got specific about needing to primary them so they could overthrow the next election. This wasn't just sort of polite chatter that I must admit I often do when I'm walking off of stages. This was actually a very explicit call, to steal the next election.
Yeah, I certainly understand what you're talking about. Sometimes when people are trying to confront you as you're walking from a stage or through an airport, you just want to move on. And so you kind of, yeah, and keep going. This was much different than that. This was this man exposing that he is a Looney Tune lawyer, that he's not the guy that was there in that interview with the National Review. He is somebody who believes in the insurrection. He believes in overturning a valid election, which the people in Trump's administration that were charged with evaluating said it was the most fraud-free election in American history. Absolutely. This is all made up stuff. And frankly, Joe, not only did Eastman expose himself, but what is the Wall Street Journal doing, publishing a letter from Donald Trump full of this junk?